The instant you respond to a harmless-sounding question, you've already surrendered a piece of your strategic advantage without realizing it. The instant you respond to a harmless-sounding question, you've already surrendered a piece of your strategic advantage without realizing it. There are 5 specific questions circulating in your daily life right now. They sound innocent. They feel like connection. They arrive from friends, family, colleagues, people who smile when they speak, people you've trusted for years. People whose genuine curiosity seems so natural that answering feels like the very foundation of honesty. You probably answered one of these questions today. Maybe more, and you had no idea what you actually gave away. The most dangerous courts in history weren't destroyed by foreign armies. They collapsed from within because someone inside knew exactly which questions to ask and understood what the answers truly revealed. Machiavelli spent years inside those rooms. He wasn't the strongest man there. He survived because he grasped a truth most never learn. Every question is a request for intelligence. And once given, that intelligence belongs entirely to the person who receives it. He wrote one line that contains the entire architecture of what follows. Silence is the ultimate weapon of power. Today, we are performing a social autopsy on the 5 specific questions you must never answer no matter who asks. If you value your autonomy, listen with surgical focus. After this video, you will never respond to any of them the same way again. Question 1. What are you currently working on? It seems like the most innocent query in existence. Someone who cares about you asks. You tell them. It feels like sharing. It feels like the warmth that real relationships are built on. And sometimes it is exactly that. But here is what it always is regardless of who asks, regardless of how warm the context feels, a request for your most vulnerable intelligence. Your early stage plans. The business ideas still forming. The career move you're building toward. The project that hasn't yet produced results. These are not protected by evidence. They are sustained entirely by your own belief. They are fragile in a way completed achievements never are. The moment you disclose a plan before it produces results, you're creating a power play. You move it from the safe harbor of your own psychology into the open water of someone else's reaction. And that reaction, whether warm or skeptical, changes the plan's relationship to your confidence. A warm reaction produces false completion. Psychologists call this social substitute reward. Your brain registers approval almost the same as actual achievement. You told them. They got excited. Your motivation quietly drops because some of the reward has already been collected. A skeptical reaction produces something worse, self-doubt at the exact moment your plan is most vulnerable. Before results exist. Before momentum has enough mass to survive a hit. They ask, is the timing right? Is there already a market? What makes you different? These aren't hostile questions. They're reasonable questions asked at the wrong moment before your plan is strong enough to survive engagement. Machiavelli watched princes lose thrones not to military defeat, but to the erosion of confidence that came before it. The slow installation of doubt by trusted advisors who asked the right questions at the wrong moment. The correction isn't silence. Silence makes you look empty. The correction is surface fluency. Answer socially while revealing nothing operationally. I'm building something in the business space. Early days, but it's moving. True. Warm. Socially complete. Operationally empty. Share the launched version. Never the launching version. Question 2. How much money do you actually make? It never arrives directly. No one sits across from you and says, I need your exact financial position so I can calculate your desperation. Threshold. It arrives as warmth, casual curiosity. Business must be going well. What are you pulling in these days? Or sideways. Did you do okay this year? Or wrapped in concern. Are things tight right now? I just want to make sure you're okay. Same question. Different social cover. Every version attempts to collect the same intelligence. Where are you on the spectrum between comfortable and desperate? Because that position, your distance from your minimum acceptable threshold, is your negotiating floor. The number below which you will accept terms you would otherwise reject. And whoever knows your negotiating floor before any negotiation begins has already won. They don't need to be smarter or more persuasive. They just wait, holding terms at exactly the level where your financial pressure makes acceptance feel unavoidable. This is called leverage threshold mapping. The systematic identification of your minimum acceptable outcome extracted through casual social disclosure rather than in the negotiation itself. Think about the last time you told someone you were in a financially difficult period. Not in a formal negotiation, in a casual conversation, in a moment of trust. Now think about whether anything changed afterward, whether the terms they offered in any subsequent exchange were calibrated slightly differently, whether the favors they asked for arrived at a higher frequency. You may not have noticed. The calibration is too subtle to detect in a single interaction, but across multiple interactions the pattern is unmistakable. Cosimo de' Medici, who ran the most powerful financial dynasty in Renaissance Europe, rode a mule and wore plain robes. Not humility, strategic concealment. He understood that displaying his true wealth would make every request more expensive and every refusal more contested. Keep them guessing. Not out of deception, out of self-preservation. The response is not a lie. It's a surface answer. Things are moving forward. I've got my challenges like everyone else, but I'm managing. True, warm, complete, operationally useless to anyone who needed the actual number. Give them the weather report, never the financial statement. Question 3. What happened between you and that person? This question extracts 3 types of intelligence simultaneously. Most people never identify any of them because it feels so obviously like genuine concern. First, your account of the other person's behavior. An emotionally honest assessment delivered from genuine feeling. Second, a map of your own relational vulnerabilities. What specific behaviors produce conflict in you? What violations do you find unforgivable? Third, leverage over the relationship between you and the third party. The ability to deliver your account to them in a form that produces a predictable response, deepening a conflict that benefits whoever holds information from both sides. This is called triangulation intelligence. In plain terms, what you say about person X does not stay with the person you said it to. It travels with their framing, at the time of their choosing, to whichever destination produces the most useful result for them. Your honest account becomes social currency.